Hi there, this is Becca with Amazing Paper Grace, and today we're going to make a flap box. This is what the flap box looks like. And it's a great item that you can make any embellishment for the top. So the thing I need to tell you about this box is you can do it. I'm going to show you step by step. Now, the box was inspired by an origami box that I could not figure out. So I made my own version and converted it to Score Pal, and that's what we're going to learn today. So along with your Score Pal, a stylus, and a 12-inch by 12-inch paper, let's get started. You're going to start out by scoring at 1.5 inches, 3 inches, 3 3/4 inch, 8 1/4 inch, 9, and at the 10.5 inch mark. Now we're going to take and make 2 marks that we're going to reference later. And for those marks, we're just going to actually push our stylus in at the top part of the notch on the Score Pal to make an indent. And we'll do that at 4.5 and 7.5. And then you're going to turn your paper completely around and do that on the other side. 4.5 and 7.5. Okay, so now we can actually turn our paper 90 degrees and we'll make another series of scores. So we're going to score at 3 inches, at the 4.5 inch mark, at the 7.5 inch mark, and at the 9 inch mark. Great, great. Now we're going to do something that's just a little bit different. We need to look at our Score Pal, and I'm going to pick out this line that says 6 inch. You can't see it, but off the bottom of my screen there's a little marking at the bottom so that I can tell where that whole line is. I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to find the little dip that I made, and I'm going to set that dip on that 6 inch line. And then I'm going to look around the corner and I'm going to find the second line that I scored, and I'm going to match that up on the 6 inch mark as well, and I'm going to score in between those two places, and that makes a diagonal score like this. So you need to do that on all 4 edges. Okay, now that I've done all my initial scoring, I'm going to take a second and crease all my score lines very well. Okay, I've now scored all my lines, and I'm certain that I have very good creases. So now we need to orient our paper. And I want you to fold in all 4 corners for that orientation. Okay, once you have all 4 corners folded in, you want it so that when you look at each of these, you have horizontal lines going across. And so then we're going to make sure that our paper is aligned at the top and the bottom, and we're going to score again. We're going to score at the 1.5 inch mark, the 3 inch mark, and score all the way down. And then we're going to score at the 3 3/4 inch mark. Then we're going to rotate our paper all the way around 180 degrees so that we have the other side. And we're going to do those same scores again, where we're going to score at 1.5. We'll score at 3. And then we're going to score at 3 3/4. Now you're going to take your paper and you're going to rotate it 90 degrees. And we're going to start to fold our box now. So follow on these bottom 2 edges. Follow until you get your fingers to the corner of the page, to the corner of these dog ears. And then come back to the first score line right here. And we're going to fold up right there. And then from the bottom edge on the next score line, we're going to fold back. And then we're actually going to take this little lip and we're going to fold it up, but I want to pull these out. And they should, for the most part, fall into place. And they're going to make these little dog ears, or these little flaps right here. Alright, so then we're going to turn our paper around and we're going to do this from the other side. So I'm going to follow my fingers all the way to the edge, come back to the first score line, I'm going to fold it up, and then from this edge, the first score line, fold it back, and then I'm going to take this and I want to fold this up, but while I'm folding it up, I'm going to pull out, and since there are already creases there, this is going to fall into place. Alright, so now we're going to try and shape this box a little bit. Right where I've left this, I'm going to set that straight up. And then, you see these little dog ears that we made? There's a score line adjacent. I want my dog ears to match up with the score line, like this. So you can see that part of your box is being made right there. Well, there's a little bit of resistance there because I don't have a crease. So as you pull this up, I want you to lift up and crease that so that it meets this crease line right here. It will be natural. What you're doing will feel natural. The paper's going to want to go there. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing on the other side. As I try to pull this to make into a box shape, and I try to pull this up, there's a little bit of resistance because I don't have a crease right here. So just go ahead and crease it. And it's going to crease into a diagonal. Alright, so then I'm going to take and I'm going to do this on the other side. Here I have what I've folded. I'm going to stand it up. I'm going to kick those little tabs out like so. And you can see where I'm starting to make a box. But I have some resistance here, so I'm just going to go ahead and fold this diagonal. And the same on this side. As I try to lift here, I'm going to fold the diagonal. Okay. So now we're going to put this together. I'm going to come back and stand this up. I'm going to lift this side up. I'm going to lift this side up. I can turn it around and do the same thing, and you can see my box in the center. Like so. This flap goes down, and this flap goes down. And so ultimately what you're going to do is you're going to tuck this flap inside. You'll see that there's a channel for it to go in on. course, the first time is the hardest. Like so. There's your box. That is the cutest box. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you soon.